Okay. What is up, YouTube? HPJ here, and I got a bit of a deck profile for you guys because we're going to take a look at the familiar possess. So, as we all know, the OCG recently just received um, this structure deck, and we will be getting this structure deck in October. And I'm kind of scared for a lot of reasons that I probably did mention in the video. Um, as leading up to the deck's release in the OCG. And I'll probably say this a lot more when it comes to the deck overall. Now, I did my best to really just put together what I could because this deck, the archetype himself, is an amalgamation of spellcasters with different attributes, a lot of control, and the only real thing that they have is that their manipulation of the attribute is pretty much what the Charmers themselves are known for. So it's a bit of a stretch because you really have to work to get a lot of this working together. And I did what I could with them. So this is just one version of the deck, and I'll be working on a couple of variations at least to try to get a big feel of this. Because the OCG, for some reason, uses the familiar possessed but calls them the Charmers. I mean, I thought they were all different sets. Maybe they're all the same attribute, but when you look it up on EDO, they aren't the same. They're actually different. They're one is class possessed, while the other is class as charmer. So yeah, um, I guess this is pretty much it. Just let's take a look at the deck itself. So we're starting with the familiar possess. I'm running one of each. I have familiar possess Hita, Winnie, Usa, and Area. Then I have their charmer forms. I have Hita the Flame Fire Charmer, Winnie the Wind Charmer, Asua the Earth Charmer, and Area the Water Charmer. Then I'm running two copies of Ida, the Sun Magician, then three copies of Witchcraft Golem Iruru, and three copies of Fairy Tale Luna, then two copies of Effect Veiler, and two copies of Ash Blossom and Joyous Spring. For the spell cards, three copies of Master of the Spiritual Arts, three copies of Grand Spiritual Art Iri Chirin, then two copies of Awakening of the Possessed, two copies of Secret Village of the Spellcasters, three copies of Three Tactical Talents, one copy of Terraforming, and one copy of Set Rotation. Then for the trap cards, three copies of Teamwork of the Possessed, and then two copies of Unpossessed. For the extra deck, I am running one of each of the variation of Charmer Link monsters, one Winnie the Wind Charmer Verdant, one Hita the Flame Charmer Ablaze, one Area the Water Charmer Gentle, and one Asua the Earth Charmer Immobile. Yeah, Immobile. Then one Daybreaker the Splendid Magical Knight, one Nightmare Cerberus, one Nightmare Phoenix, one Nightmare Unicorn, one Celine the Queen of the Master Magicians, one Apollonius, the goddess of the bow of the goddess, one SS Code Talker, one Tornado Dragon, Utopia Ray, and Utopia the Lightning. So building this deck is trying to work on a combination of things. You can leave out the Charmers and just go full familiar possessed and then still take advantage of the fact they're all up four. You can add the Charmers, which are the control aspect of it. The only downside to them is they work on a flip effect. And the thing about flip effects these days now is that you're really going to have to start using cards to really flip them up and then take advantage of them. This is where Ida, the Sun Magician, comes in. Ida's ability is that when it's no more flipped, you can special summon a spellcaster with 15 or less, 15 defense from your deck, either from your deck or your hand face down defense position, except for Ida. And then during your opponent's main phase, you can change one face down spellcaster monster you control to face up attack position, which gives the Charmers their ability to take control of a monster, their attribute, and then place it on your side of the field while it's face up on the field. So the thing about this is that you do kind of see I'm not running two particular Charmers and Familiar Possess. That's Dirk and Lena. And the reason why is because the newer support does kin to all the Magician. I mean, all the Charmers and Familiar Possess, but the artwork kins to the original four, which doesn't say you can't play the others in addition to the four that's already here. You know, the original four. But you can if you want to, and you can swap in and out, which is why I did leave the four of them in the the side deck, just because you can mix and match which variations you want. You can go for dark and light if you want to, because dark and light you'll always see no matter what part of the game it is. Dark and light will always be a factor. I think even more so next time. What is the next set? Rise of the Duelist. We're going to see a ton of dark and light attributed decks, especially because of Darkma. And I think you could potentially fit the two of them in here. You can swap them out for attributes that probably aren't seen around, which most likely are Wind and Earth. And then take advantage of Dark and Light, and then switch them in and out. It's as well as the Charmers. It's the Familiar Possess. So that's pretty much the combination of the eight here, is that because of their name iteration and the spells and traps that support them now, you have a lot of access to them. And then you can take your opponent's monster, take that monster in the Charmer, in such a summon the corresponding Familiar Possess from your deck or your hand, who corresponds with that Charmer, which is why you can easily get to each of the Charmers, each of the Familiar Possess, by just taking control of the monster based on the Charmer itself. Then we have Lena. Lena is here to help search for the the Familiar Possess, or she can help you take out your opponent's cards. Because the only way to negate her secondary ability, which is to, once a turn, you target a face-up monster your opponent controls, and your opponent can send a monster from their deck or extra deck that's the same name as the monster on the field, um, to negate her effect. Otherwise, you're returning both cards to the hand. So she is a bounce on top of a searcher. And it sucks because Luna, I think all the fairy tale monsters have some type of ability that works with spellcasters, and in terms of putting them face up, face down, returning them to hand, or just any card that has the 1800 attack um, bound to them. And the fact that Luna can search for practically all the Familiar Possess does help as well. And so it is a good, strike in to search for some monsters that normally didn't have a good genetic search. Golem Aruru. We needed a big beat stick in the main deck, and I figured she would be the great purpose. I honestly do. I need to pick this monster up, even if it's I think your current print here in the TCG is Ultra, if I'm not mistaken. Ultra and I think Super. But I would love to pick this monster because this monster is amazing. She is one of two of the heavy hitters for the witchcraft. So whenever a spellcaster monster you control is targeted for attacks or card effects, you can target one monster you control or a witchcraft spell or trap. A witchcraft spell in your graveyard, return those cards to hand and it says summon this card, and then return the target card to hand. And then during your opponent's next standby phase, she will return to the hand. But that's the bright thing about this monster: 2800 light attributed attacker. Heaviest attack of a spellcaster with a free drop. And a very free summon. So you do get a lot of range with her. I honestly think this is a great monster, just because of how she can be splashed into any spellcaster deck and still have an advantage because of how easy it is to just simply trigger her effect. And I figured three of these would be a great addition because practically 98% of this deck, including herself, is 95% of this deck is spellcaster. Literally, all the monsters in this deck are spellcaster. Even to the point, even Fact Veiler is a spellcaster. And even to the point with Ash Blossom, that's like literally 98% of monsters in this. So we at least have that range there. Um, then, of course, the hand traps. We have both Effect Veiler and Ash Blossom. We just took the advantage of just playing because of hand trap. While Effect Veiler negates monster effects, we have Ash Blossom to stop searches, special summons from the deck, and sending cards from the deck to the graveyard. Then for the spell cards, we cannot rock this deck out without having 3 copies of the Master of Spiritual Art. This allows you to either add Charmer monsters, Familiar Possess, um, and Possess spell attack cards to your deck, and then setting one onto the field. That way you can start, the control or the setup aspect of this deck. And it is a quick play spell. So you can even trigger this on your opponent's turn. That's why I say that even if you don't want to run particular Charmers, you can slot them in and out. And then you can take advantage of setting them up with Master of the Spiritual Art, which I think is a great spell card for them. And it actually does, set up exactly what they needed, control. Then you also have Grand Spiritual Art. And this is a very unique field spell. Now, it's once a turn when you draw a spellcaster with 15 defense. Negate any monster effect that your opponent activates. That's a once per turn. Then on top of that, during your main phase, you can reveal a spellcaster in your hand, and if you do, you can add a monster with 15 attack or 200 defense with the same attribute as that monster from your deck to your hand, and shuffle. Now, I'm not running the corresponding targets, which are these guys, these spirit monsters that correspond with them. That's Gigabyte, Ranryu, Archfiend Eater, Nefariousness, and Inari Fire. You do have the option to play them if you want to. I just wanted to go pure spellcaster with this deck. And these are some extensions if you want to add the extensions in. Maybe you can drop a couple of cards and then just throw the 40s in there. But it's just more have the option of extensions, and you also have the options to um, pretty much just set up your field. I do have three talented, three. I do have. Sorry, because I want to go by each of the cards themselves. We have the Awakening of the Possessed, just another control card. If you control a monster, monsters on the field will gain a 300 attack with every monster on the field with different attributes. Charmer friendly possessed monster you control can't be destroyed by card effect, so I have to destroy them in my battle. Um, then you'll summon a monster whose original attack and defense is 18. No, original attack is 18. It's one of those summon you draw a card. So I think 1850. It's a very weird card, but it's control, it's defense, and it's a free draw. So it's limited, but I didn't want to run three because it is a hard once per turn effect. And this is a card that can be searched off of, masters of the spiritual arts. Do I think the grand spell can be searched? No, the grand spell can't be searched. Why the grand spell can't? Well, actually, that'd be too broken if it could. Then we have the two secret village of the spellcaster, and this sets up with set rotation. Give this card to your opponent and just screw them over. Like, oh look, flip, it's secret village. And then your opponent will have to do a secret village. And most decks don't run spellcasters. They'll have to waste an effect veiler to have secret village, unless they're playing Celine. So, Selena. Why is that Celine? What is her name? Celine? Yeah, Celine. They have to play into Celine in order to this. They have to run a spellcaster to get hurt. So, yeah, the village is gonna be a deadly card with this archetype because it's control. It's a heavy aspect of control in combination with set rotation. Because set up your grand spiritual art, set up your secret village from your opponent's side, and screw them over. Because if they flip this, there's no way to get rid of this because it's secret village spellcaster. You have to control the spellcaster in order to get rid of the spell trap, unless you use a monster effect. And even then, by then, most of your stuff that does aspects of control and setup is going to stop this. I am also running terraforming to search for either one of these, just because, well, 98% of this deck is spellcaster and has options to those options. And this is a great way to deal with your. Okay, I'm sorry for the background noise problems. Anyway, yeah, so we were talking about terraforming, which can search for either of these. You can take advantage of either of the spells. And then we got the three tactical tactics. So the three tactical talents, sorry, I say three tactical talented tactics. I'm sorry, I get this card's name mixed up so much, but the three tactical talents, triple T, is a really good card. It's a more of a going second type of card, but you have three amazing options. You have Pot of Greed, my crank car what is it? Not car control. Grace you have Pot of Greed, Change of Heart, or Confiscation. So you have three various options you can take advantage of. Most people are probably going to take the draw too. Even though this isn't a card like Card of Demise, which I mean not Card of Demise, Card of Pot of Desires, which you can easily take 10 cards, get rid of them, and then draw two. I more so rather have this as an option because if you lose something when Pot of Desires, it more than so messes up the play. And there aren't really much doubles or triples in this, just triples. So I think at a point where I really don't care if it's, a draw to take control of something or look at your opponent's hand and disrupt their plays, you get an option on this because practically every deck in the game right now plays a form of a hand trap, and most of those cards are going to be used on your turn. So if something gets negated, per se, this is a good backup plan. Just in case you can draw into something else you can use. And I did want to take advantage of this. That's why you don't see multiples of monsters except for Golem and Luna in the hand traps, because this is still a viable option because your main component is going to be the Charmers or the Familiar Possess. The others are pretty much for backup and setup of their own. And then this is just here for the game 2 aspect. Then for the trap cards, simply just more Familiar Possess support. You have Unpossessed, where your Charmer monster still can be destroyed by battle. Then your Familiar Possessed monster attacks an opponent's monster is going to gain 800 attacks and damage step, which may not seem like a lot, but because of all the buffs that you're getting from cards like Awakening the Possessed, this card's additional 800 will help familiar possessed monster run something over. And then if a monster you control is destroyed by battle or a card effect, you can set summon the spellcaster with 15 defense from your deck whose attribute is different from the one that was destroyed. Based on its original attribute, in face up or face down events. So you practically can get either a familiar possessed or you can get a charmer. 9 and 10, you're gonna get a charmer. You can even get Ida, because Ida has 15 defense, so you still have that option with the range of the cards that this trap can get. Then you have Teamwork of the Possessed, which can so summon one of the spellcasters from your hand or graveyard to face up or face down this position with 15 defense. You can also take advantage of this card's effect where if you have two or more monsters with different attributes, you can destroy a face up card on the field. Then you can banish this card to add a continuous spell or trap that has a possessed spell or trap card in your graveyard and place it onto the field, face up on the field. So you can get back your Unpossessed, you can get back your Awakening Possessed, and then have these cards active for a lot of your other cards on the board. This is why I'm running 3 of them. I was considering dropping one to at least dropping a couple cards to add in some trap trick just to help speed up the process of getting this card. But you only use this card's effect once per turn, only once a turn, so at least some setup on either turn of play. So then let's go into the extra deck. It's very simple stuff here. Because I'm running the spellcasters, I want to run Daybreaker. I might drop Daybreaker and just put in something different, but it takes 2 spellcasters, it gains a spell counter. Um, for each spell, it gains 3 attack for each spell counter, and then every time a spellcaster is summoned to a place this card points at, it's gonna gain a spell counter, and then you can remove 2 spell counters to target a card on the field and destroy it. So you have a variation of Breaking a Magical Warrior and a Link monster, which isn't bad. It's just a little slower than normal because you have to summon the spellcaster to wherever this points to. I mean, the deck can optimally just do that itself, but it is a little given way. Then, of course, I'm running each of the Link Monster Charmers um, because this is the Charmer variation. These are Charmers themselves. And actually, no, they're treated as familiarly possessed monsters, so I guess give them the edge there. And allow their own card effects. And then they can also take monsters your opponent controls based on the attribute that they have. So bam, that's even more setup. You do have some generic support in cards like Nightmare Phoenix, Nightmare Cerberus, and Nightmare Unicorn. Um, each of them have a very variations of removal. You have Selene, the Queen of the Master Magician. This is just to help you go into excess code talker, and then the fact that there's so many different spellcasters in this deck already. So it just fits in there. We have the bow of the goddess Apollonius, which I'm still trying to figure out. So the Polly is the bow, then the goddess is the one who's holding the bow, and then there's the bear. But yeah, this is just massive negate. If you don't have access to this, because I know she's getting reprinted, this card's getting reprinted, but if you don't have access to it, there are a couple of other Link monsters that can just fit into her place for the massive negate. And then the Exceed monsters, Tornado Dragon for removal. You have the Utopia lineup for all the fours that you are running, and you just easily spam into Utopia to Ray and into Lightning, and then Lightning can swing into stuff to negate their to pretty much have him swing, become a 5k attacker, do some massive damage, and then have nothing activate to the other damage step. So yeah, that's just pretty much it for this deck profile, you guys. And if there's any suggestions or things you'd like to add to this, please feel free to in the comment section below. Because I'm still trying to get this to work, and I do have a lot of hope for this. Well, I have some hope for this. It's just the one thing that I wish this archetype had is a is a boss monster. It's literally what they need. They just need a boss monster that can manipulate the attribute. And I think it will work very well. Probably wouldn't have to run so much too. But let me know what you guys think in the comment section below. Thank you guys so much for watching. And please don't forget to like, comment, share, and subscribe. And hit the notification bell so you guys can be informed of when I do upload more videos. Thanks everybody for watching. And HPJ signing out. Take care.